This 14-minute video is to explain the pension situation that would occur should Scotland become independent. During the 2014 referendum, people that supported the Union openly went around doors of pensioners and lied that if you became independent, all their contributions to the UK state pension would be lost. This is a lie. The purpose of this presentation is to show some fact. I very quickly, in 13 minutes, cover these topics. Looking at comparisons, these are the 2020 figures. The state pension in the UK for new people that go into the pension system is £168 a week if you have the proper paid up annual years of benefit to entitle you to the maximum. Also for 2020, this is the average wage for the UK as a whole, £29,600. The weekly figure multiplied out gives you a pension maximum of £8,700. Dividing one into the other, it shows you that the state pension at the moment for the 2020 figures is 29.61% of the average wage in the country. As you can see here, the UK has the lowest pension as a percentage of the average wage in the developed world according to these OECD figures. The UK, in terms of turnover financially, is fifth largest economy in the world, and in terms of GDP, that's the efficiency of producing wealth, we are 24th in the world. It doesn't say a lot for our governments supporting its older people when this is how low this figure is. Just look at the countries, how we compare. Also highlighting a comparison is a European Committee of Social Rights produced a report in March 19 which said that these countries here were violating the law as no one could live to a basic level on the state pension solely. Now, what is the threat? Since 2010, the UK state pension has been protected by a triple lock. These are three different things which at the end of the day guarantee that a state pension will increase by 2.5% per annum, or if the average inflation is higher, then it will rise by that inflation. In these years, about the time of a general election, the Conservative Party in power at the time started talking about a welfare payment, and they wanted to reduce it. Most people think it's your right because if you've been working, you've been paying national insurance contributions. But here the government is wanting to stop the triple lock to save money. Bear in mind this was the post-austerity after the financial crash of 2008. These are figures from that time. These are government figures from the DWP. As you can see, they considered it on the top left a pension burden. Since 2010 and in these years, there's been a big discussion within the government, this is the Conservative government, to rename the state pension to a different name, and there's been several proposals put forward. Here is one of them. It's psychological because you're taking away the word state and pension and you're calling it a welfare payment for people that are retired, a welfare support payment. This is psychological, and it's to try and make it easier psychologically for the government to reduce your pension payments or have it rise slower so that in time you fall behind inflation. Indeed, in January 21 there's been discussions as well in week 2 and 3 of the month to actually propose the same again. This is to recover costs and problems caused by COVID to the economy and the ongoing costs which will build due to Brexit. In 2014, people that support the unions, MPs, MSPs, and just supporters of the different unionist parties, went round pensioners' doors and told them to their face a lie which said that if Scotland became independent, you would lose all your contributions that you had paid into in the UK state pension fund. People that know the facts knew this was a rat, and they were lying to you, deliberately lying to people at their doors to their face. The truth is, by law, you will get your UK state pension contributions in any future independent Scotland. Here are facts. If you've worked in the UK and you have paid the requisite number of years into the state pension fund within the UK, and then you leave that country by emigrating, or in Scotland's case becoming independent, you will be, as a contributor to that fund, entitled to your contribution no matter where you live. This is law. This is fact. During the negotiations before becoming independence between the UK government and the Scottish government, they will agree a time frame where your UK state pension pot would be transferred over into a file within the Scottish financial system, where your money from the UK would be paid regularly into. You, as a taxpayer in Scotland, will pay your national insurance, if indeed they intend to still call it that, into your Scottish pension contributions, which will obviously be combined with the UK government giving you, when you retire, your pension based on the years you've contributed. What could an independent Scotland afford? First, before I answer that question, let's look at a couple of statements from the 2014 and 2016, which, although it's in the past, we're talking about the future. The Government of Scotland at that time said that they will keep the triple lock. They are politicians, so time will tell, but that was the stated intention. The other thing they said was that because people in Scotland die younger, assuming everything else is the same and nothing changes, that the Scottish Government can afford to pay a higher pension to people in Scotland, all other things being equal, because you die earlier. Obviously, if they pay the same, you can retire earlier, but basically what they're saying is that actuaries that work out pension rates and pension costs, it would be different in Scotland to it would be if you're looking at the UK as a whole. You need a crystal ball to tell what's going to happen in the future. So I'm going to depend now on some information, and you have to do a little bit of research to convince yourself that what I'm going to say is true. First of all, Scotland is wealthier than England. Through decades, Scotland has been told that we're a basket case and that we could never afford anything. We'd go down the tubes if we were independent. This is not true. For every pound we get from the UK government for the Scottish public spend, we give £1.50 back. It varies between £1.48 and £1.54, but that's actually what happens based on real figures. The criticism is what they contribute to Scotland, which is the highest in the UK, but what they never say is how much comes back. But wealth to pay for a pension doesn't come from the public purse, it comes from money generated from industry and taxation. You need to look at this and many other sources to understand this a little bit about the UK economy. So if you type in that URL or search on that name, you will find this video. It lasts 30 minutes. Please watch it. If you go to this website, which is a business support website for an independent Scotland, and look for Scotland the Brief, you will find lots of information about Scotland's strengths, plus lots of other articles that you may find useful. The key thing is, when you're searching on the internet for the wealth of Scotland now and guesses for the future, think hard about the person that is writing it. What organisation is writing it? What could be their political motives? Where did they get the information from? The only information you can rely on is accurate. Even then, their estimates is the HMRC database, the Office of National Statistics database, and the Scottish Statistical Database. If the information doesn't come from these three sources, it's suspect. If you look into it and look at these things, you'll find that Scotland has better state finances than the UK if it was independent. It's got more natural resources than the UK as a part of the population. It's got a diverse economy, higher levels of exports in the UK and England. It's energy rich. All these things would make Scotland a wealthy, independent country. Coming back to pensions, Scotland as an independent country is a first world country, and we have been as long as the UK and the Industrial Revolution. And we will be the same as all other states our size. We'll have state finances, state central bank, a full controlled, full economy, full structures, and we can afford a state pension. That is a definite. The unknown is the level the government at the time will set. However, the SNP has said that it would be their intention to pay as quickly as possible a state pension higher than the current UK pension and more in line with the average or better than the OECD figures that you saw earlier. There's ways that you can create wealth to actually increase the money the government gets in, which in turn grows the economy and can actually make more money available for a pension. The UK has been declining for over 60 years, and as such they have not kept the pension up to date. Scotland, if you look at this video, has options to grow its wealth higher than what has been done in the past in the UK, make it better for all, and increase in sometimes dramatic ways your state pension. It will depend on the government having the will to do it, but there's systems and procedures in place that can. The future will tell what will happen, but the key message is that we can, and independent Scotland could, afford a normal state pension higher than the current very poor UK state pension. So that was a quick talk, and hopefully it gives you time to think and gives you some information. But so I summarise. The UK has the lowest state pension in the developed world. It's under threat from the current government and has been since 2010. You will, under law, get your state pension paid in independent Scotland. It will be added to your contributions to the Scottish Government, and the combined figure will pay your pension. Scotland's a normal first world country, and it can afford and will be able to afford a state pension. The unknown is the level of that state pension. All I can say is that the Scottish Government, as it is now, have said it will be higher than what you currently get within the UK budget country. With the dynamic growth strategy and using different techniques, we should be able to give a much better payment than we could initially in time, much better than the UK pension. You can't predict the future. All I can guarantee is that you will get a state pension and you will not lose any money in an independent Scotland. Thank you for listening.